Stereotyping, whether it be by race, gender, or sexuality, is a nonsensical act that compels us to make false judgments, mistreat peers, and widen the divider that is inequality. Discrimination is a plague that must be stopped, as it has already ruined or squandered an endless amount of lives. Stereotyping prevents people from achieving their full potential in jobs, academics, and sports. In a study performed by the American Association of University Women, it was concluded that any time students were primed with the directions that men were better than women at a certain skill, the men outperformed the women on the subsequent test of that skill. But when the test takers were told that women and men performed equally well on that skill, the test results evened out. In some cases, the women even outperformed the men. In a similar case, black and white male athletes would have peak performance when they were told no stereotypes. But that performance ability greatly dropped when told about the stereotypes about themselves. However, in all cases, the result was the same. When someone is told a stereotype about themselves, they greatly underperform. Stereotypes also halt achievement because many colored races, and women specifically, are seen as unintelligent. This has led to the domination of white men, in major corporations. In addition to this, subtle and even unconscious stereotypes through body language can make job candidates uncomfortable, so they fail to meet the employer's requirements. I myself have experienced this when I had to handshake men, and they often gave me a weak or limp handshake. As a teen, this type of prejudice can lower self-esteem and create a sense of inequality where I felt I was not as good as the men. I even felt saddened that they assumed I fit the stereotype that women are dainty. I am not dainty. I am independent. On the other hand, diversity must be integrated into the academic, work, and sports environments. In the book The Diversity of Life by biologist and Nobel Peace Prize winner E.O. Wilson, he explains that diversity is crucial to the survival and evolution of our species. The American Psychological Association also supports this idea when they state that recognizing, embracing, and valuing inclusion and diversity is a pathway to greater strength. Besides preventing people from achieving their full potential, stereotyping even leads to unjustifiable violence. The American Psychological Association claims that it is unquestionable that discrimination creates substantial harm. As social media reveals, there have been countless lives taken by racists when they shot black men. One of the most tragic hate crimes was against the young, unarmed Trayvon Martin. Trayvon did not intend to harm or commit a crime, but the civilian named George Zimmerman shot him anyway, simply because of the color of his skin. And it is not only Zimmerman, and it is not only black men. Stereotypes have caused physical harm to all races, sexualities, and genders too. According to the University of Michigan, the concept of male entitlement created by gender roles is associated with domestic violence. When married men do not see their wives following the common stereotypes of women doing housework and women staying home all day and watching the children, they turn to violence to punish and attempt to discipline their partners. Violence of any kind is unacceptable. No race, gender, or sexuality deserves punishment for a fitting stereotype that was wrongly placed to begin with. Stereotypes conflict with all races, genders, and sexualities. They make us believe that we are unequal because we are different. For example, 2 equals 2. They are the same, yet even when a minor change occurs, like adding a negative, 2 does not equal negative 2. This is similar to how we see others because of stereotypes. We wrongly add negatives so we are not equal, when in fact, stereotypes are only an illusion to make us appear that way. As the great poet once said, "Prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible." So now I implore you to not forget the past wrongs, for they did happen. But look toward the future with hope in your mind and love for everyone in your hearts. I also give you a choice. You can either stand back and watch as others suffer through the merciless and pervasive epidemic that is stereotyping, or you can help those categorized and stop the sickness from being spread any further. In his inaugural address, the young President John F. Kennedy said, "To ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I ask you to do the same. Do not wait for others to stop stereotyping. Spread awareness and end it now, for violence and inequality will only continue if you don't.